Why do humans believe in the paranormal, ghosts, UFOs, cryptids, psychic powers even when science repeatedly finds little concrete evidence? To answer that, we need to look not only at folklore or myth, but at the machinery of the human mind. The paranormal is not just about what might exist out there, it's about what's already inside us. At the most basic level, belief in the paranormal begins with pattern recognition. Our ancestors lived in dangerous environments where survival often depended on connecting dots quickly. If a bush rustled, it was safer to assume predator than wind. Over-detecting threats saved lives, under-detecting them got you eaten. That same wiring persists in modern brains. It's why we see faces in clouds, hear voices in static, or feel a presence when we're alone. What once served as a survival instinct now fuels our encounters with the paranormal. Layered on top of that is agency detection. Humans are wired to assume intention behind unexplained events. We ask who caused something before we consider what. If a door creaks open in the night, our first thought is not air pressure, but someone or something is there. Strange lights in the sky become spacecraft, not atmospheric reflections. Our minds are constantly scanning for agents, for beings, even in shadows where none exist. But these instincts alone don't explain the emotional power of paranormal belief. That comes from our drive for meaning-making. Life is chaotic, painful, and often senseless. Paranormal beliefs smooth those rough edges. A grieving parent who feels their child's spirit nearby gains comfort in tragedy. A town struck by disaster might cling to legends of curses or divine punishment. In these moments, the paranormal isn't just a superstition, it's a coping mechanism, turning randomness into story and story into meaning. Psychology also tells us that our brains are riddled with cognitive biases that strengthen these beliefs. The confirmation bias makes us remember the one dream that seemed prophetic while forgetting the hundreds that meant nothing. The availability heuristic ensures that vivid paranormal tales stick in memory while dull scientific explanations fade away. Add the false memory effect, and entire groups can sincerely believe they saw or experienced something that never occurred. Think of the countless eyewitness reports of UFOs, or the shared memories of hauntings that vanish under investigation. Our brains are storytelling machines, and the paranormal thrives in the gaps between logic and memory. And then there is the social side of the paranormal. Belief is rarely solitary. Ghost stories told around campfires, urban legends whispered in hallways, UFO sightings that grip entire towns. These aren't just accounts of events, they're rituals of belonging. To say I saw something is to place yourself inside a collective narrative. Paranormal belief becomes social glue, a way of bonding through mystery. In fact, studies show that paranormal stories spike during periods of social uncertainty, wars, pandemics, and cultural upheaval. The stranger the times, the more we reach for stranger explanations. History gives us plenty of case studies. The Salem witch trials in 1692 show how fear and uncertainty can spiral into collective hysteria, with the paranormal witchcraft offered as the explanation for illness, conflict, and tragedy. The Roswell incident of 1947 reveals how a single misidentified object can ignite decades of UFO mythology, fueled as much by Cold War paranoia as by eyewitness accounts. Even in modern times, mass sightings of cryptids like Bigfoot or Mothman illustrate how local legends can transform into global phenomena. Each case shows the same psychological forces at play: fear, uncertainty, community, and the hunger for mystery. Philosophically, the paranormal raises a deeper question: what counts as truth? If an entire community swears they've seen something, but science finds no proof, does that shared conviction itself create a kind of reality? After all, many systems we live by: money, laws, nations are sustained by collective belief. They exist because we all agree they exist. Could paranormal phenomena function in a similar way, sustained by shared imagination? The line between reality and belief isn't always as sharp as we think. And perhaps the strongest pull of the paranormal comes from our existential anxieties. If ghosts exist, then death may not be the end. If UFOs are real, humanity is not alone. If cryptids lurk in the wilderness, then Earth still holds mysteries beyond our grasp. These possibilities are terrifying, yes, but also comforting. They suggest that life is bigger, stranger, and more meaningful than it sometimes feels. Now imagine a world without the paranormal, a world where everything is explained, every mystery solved, every shadow illuminated. Would that world be more comforting or more horrifying? Maybe humans cling to the paranormal because we need the unknown. Mystery keeps life from collapsing into monotony. It gives us space to wonder, to fear, and to hope. In the end, the psychology of the paranormal reveals less about ghosts or aliens and more about us. It reveals our evolutionary instincts, our cognitive biases, our social bonds, and our existential hunger. Whether or not the paranormal is real in the way people claim, one fact remains undeniable. Human beings will always be haunted, not just by spirits, but by uncertainty, by possibility, and by the limits of our own understanding.